let me welcome all of you. I am Lucas, your host, and as last time I'm joined by Christoph. Hello, Christoph.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
And this time we even have Morris on board as well, right from the start. Hello, Morris.
Yeah, I'm in time. Hello. So I to be honest, I'm in this channel since more than 60 minutes just to make sure that I'm not late. So here I'm.
Yeah, better safe than sorry. Right.
Yes.
Let us start with schedule again. This time I hope we can stick to it a bit more without any unforeseen not showing ups of Morris. So we will start with a quick recap for 2022. Was a great year, a lot to talk about. And then we will move on straight to the preview for 2023 with some updates, news, and all that kind of stuff. And next will be the questions that you have sent in. We have selected, I think it's like currently 17 that we have. Let's start with the recap. Morris, would you like to do that for us?
A recap 22.
Yes.
I have the feeling it was 2, 3, 4 years. So what we have done within the last, I would say, 10 months, it's really strange. So we were in this kind of stealth mode with the project for a very long time. And in March this year, we released the website. And so that was the first time that we were really public with this project. And I have the feeling since that we had 2 or 3 years, so many things happened on our side. So the team grows a lot. So we have new team members each month on developing side, and then also on the marketing side and communication side. So that's really amazing to see. We had the summit in May, which was amazing to show the product to this super community and getting first feedback for what we are doing. So we made the Roadshow this year. So we had the containers and we're on the road and meet all the big automotive partners and show the game there. So made tech checks there and really showed RENNSPORT to these kind of partners. Then we start the closed beta. We start the Discord channel, open waitlist for beta. Which was super successful. I think at the moment we have definitely more than 20,000 registrations. So there were so many things this year which were really amazing, and we are still on a journey. And there were a lot of things more important and interesting things next year. So yeah, it's a lot, and it will not stop here. Definitely not.
Yes, let's maybe go through those milestones, let's call them step by step. So we can start with when we first went public, right? So when we first started our communication on our social channels.
It was in March when we start with the website, and that was super interesting. So we start the website in March, and it was very long. So we worked at the website for the days before, day and night, to finish the website, and then I drove home. And at night I thought, okay, let's see what happened. And it was crazy what happened on YouTube and other internet portals or channels. And the feedback was super interesting, but on the other hand, it was super weird. So there were all these things. So another fucking NFT game and all these things. And I was a bit, oh my God, we just said we were doing a new sim racing game and we have some special ideas. And now we have these NFT things. But it was a starting point, and we handled it quite well, I think. We were always really open what we are planning to do and what our project is. And I think that's the most important thing for communication and for our project. And so, website was the starting point in March. And I have the feeling it was 2 or 3 years ago, but it was this year.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that. I also still remember it vividly. Like, we went public and suddenly, like, Overtake does this video, right, with 50,000 views in like the first day, and things went crazy. It was, oh my God, it was a real shock.
Yeah, the second day they had 100,000 views, so it was really, it was amazing to see. It was really nice.
Christoph, do you want to add anything to that? I think I interrupted you.
For me it was like a very crazy time. Like once we went public, it was like first time we like hype was pretty high. I was very surprised on like we just launched that website and people started talking about it. And whoa, it's really happening. It's like it's been some time we are working on it, and now people start talking about it. So the pressure is real. But yeah,
Pressure
Till,
is real, yeah.
till to that moment, Christoph, we always had the chance to say, "Oh, stop it here." Then no chance.
yeah.
Yes, and the pressure was also real for the next event, which was the summit, right? I can still remember it in my dreams. I have nightmares every day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure. So that was for the overall team, and the team was just, I would say, not the dev team, but the rest of the team from event team and marketing side. We were such a small team, and we said, okay, we can do it. So let's do the summit. And when we really realized what it means to create these kind of events, we said, I think it was 5 or 6 weeks before the summit, we internally said, oh my God, that will be a nightmare. That's there were so many things to do, but at the end we made it, and yeah. So I think it's super important to have these kind of goals, to really have a kind of pressure, and then the team was really able to create some really great movements in the overall project. So that was really nice, really good. And for me, definitely the summit was a thing we always had in mind. We said we would like to create a kind of summit for digital motorsport and sim racing, and we would like to do it every year. And so that was a great starting point. And to be honest, we will do this kind of summit in May next year, definitely. Again, and with maybe some more topics, and the summer this year definitely was a great starting point for that.
It was, I mean, considering we were like, I think we were 6 people at the time in our event team.
Yeah.
Oh, it was like, yeah. Christoph, you probably also have some summit stories to share.
Oh yeah, Summit was a crazy time, and I'm really glad it went so well. And we spent some long days preparing the game for it, but it's totally worth it. Game, like players liked it. You know, it's never perfect, but it was like way better than I ever expected when we started this project. And hopefully we'll keep the pace up, and can do it every year. And you can see huge improvement every summit we will have, and yeah. Hopefully it will stay like this, and I'm gonna have some great memories for the whole life from the summit and time around it.
I'm sure you will.
And I remember, Christoph, you and the team coded the whole night to fix final things. So that was really, yeah, it was on point.
Maybe let's not talk about everything, because
sorry for that.
Let's just pretend that everything was super prepared.
No, to be honest, everything was super ready 2 weeks before.
Yes,
exactly. Right, then next came, like immediately afterwards, we went to BMW for our first Roadshow stop.
Yeah, right. That was the beginning of the Roadshow, and that was the reason why we had the containers at the summit, and then BMW was not that far away. So BMW was our first partner where we was with the Roadshow, and it also worked quite well. So that was our chance really to show the partners where the product is and how it could look like. And so they had the chance really to test it. And that's what we learned this year. You have to test the game. Yes, so you have to drive. You have to see it really to understand what we are planning to do, and or what we are doing all the time.
Christoph, you maybe have some things to add to the Roadshow? I mean, I also contacted you many times while I was on Roadshows.
I was angry too many times at you.
Sorry about that.
But yeah, for me, maybe it was like I wasn't that much in part of that process. I only provided some builds for you guys. But I think that was very cool to like show people the game in a way we did it, and that container driving around Europe. And yeah, that was a very cool thing. And hopefully I'll maybe go one time there and try it because I've never tried that those container rigs on my own.
Yeah, it was great. Morris, do you still remember how we got the first idea for the Roadshow?
No,
I still remember it.
Really?
Yes.
Let me know.
we had this like weekly meeting, right, to everyone relax a bit, and where we would throw in some ideas, and then we were jokingly saying, let's buy a container and just drive around Europe. And everyone was laughing, but like 30 minutes later, everyone was like, you know what, let's actually do that. And
I
like,
totally forgot it, to be honest.
it was great. It will stay in my mind forever. And then like a week later, we had everything prepared. It was perfect.
Yeah, but to be honest, I remember that we had not this problem, but there was a situation that we said, okay, people have to jump into the rig and test the game. That's the only way to show that it is real and how good it is. And then we end up and said, okay, but what can we do? And then I think this idea came up. Yeah, you're right.
It was so good. Yeah. Okay, but after the roadshow, we went on to the closed alpha start. That was also an event.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
So closed alpha start, and we learned a lot. So that was really the momentum when Christoph and we all really saw, okay, this is the feedback we get, and there are really a lot of feedback, and we had a long list from all the partners joining the closed alpha. So we really had to structure ourselves and had really to learn how to handle all these feedbacks. But at the end, I think there was a starting point for really handling these kind of feedbacks and bringing it into our development process. So it was a good starting point, and we learned a lot, and the game improved a lot with these kind of feedback. So definitely, the starting point for better development of the game. I don't know what you think, Christoph, but that was the thing I remember.
Definitely, there was a lot of valuable feedback from that coming. Many things we learned since we are doing many things first time. The team is being built up, and many things are new for us. And definitely showing the game to you guys helps us understand what are your needs, what are things that can be improved. So yes, and this was also a pretty valuable thing to do.
Yes, and very valuable is also something else, which is our closed beta waitlist. It's crazy.
It is. So when we opened up the waitlist, and I remember, Lucas, there was a small mistake. So we had the waitlist online just for a test, and it was just for an hour or something like this, and we had that many registrations.
Yeah, we had over 100 already.
And then we stopped it and said, "Oh my god!" And so waitlist start, and it was we had an internal KPI what we would like to have till the end of the year, and we reached these figures after 2 or 3 days. So that was really great to see, really, to be honest.
It definitely was. Yes, it was shocking. Like I remember everyone be like, "Oh, can we really make it till end of the year?" And then like half of those registrations already on the first day. That was something.
That was really good. That was really good.
And it's also great to see the Discord conversion rate. Like so many people from the waitlist are actually on the Discord. It's insane. Like I still remember when the first people joined the Discord, I was so nervous because I had set up this whole Discord for weeks, and suddenly there were the first testers, I'd say, and luckily everything went kind of well. I mean, I think there were some issues, but let's not talk about those. We don't talk about those. And also during all these roadshow stops and closed alpha and all that, we got a lot of feedback from the community. Maybe, Christoph, you want to talk about that a bit?
To be honest, right now I cannot remember exactly how much feedback and what exactly was there, but because there are so many inputs from people around the world, and since people are using different hardware, people are used to different things because they come from different communities. We aggregate all of those things and try to understand what's the best way we can create our game and how to make your experience the best possible. So this input is very valuable for us. It's a lot, and it's sometimes very hard to process, but we really value what you guys give to us, and hopefully it will stay like this. and hopefully we will be able to provide the game that's gonna satisfy your needs and you will enjoy it.
Yes, and also I saw some people being like, oh, are those guys really reading our feedback or our wishes, our ideas that we leave here? Yes, we are. I read every single message on this Discord in every single channel, and we keep track of those.
Yeah, Lucas reads that and converts to our programming language, and later we talk about it and see what we can do with that. So yeah, we sometimes you cannot see it immediately that we do something, because like game development is a very, very complex project, especially we in sim racing. The sim racing games are very, very complicated. So don't be worried. We see your feedback. We definitely consider all of your suggestions. And at some point, if we decide that they are gonna be valuable for the game, and you are not the only ones, because sometimes your opinion can be valuable, but it can be like completely different than other people. So we need to also take that into consideration if this is a good for other people. But if it fits to our game and if we think that's a good idea, we'll definitely consider it and at some point implement it.
Yes, we already have made some changes to the overall plan, just due to feedback we got and all the wishes. So yeah, just now we do read those messages and we do keep track of them. Yeah, but it's crazy how much we have accomplished this year, right? I believe we can be really proud of that, with all the energy we've put into it so far and like everything paid off. And there definitely is much more to come in 2023. Maybe you, Morris, would like to say some things, how 2023 will look like.
Yeah, definitely there are a lot of things we have on our milestone plan and on our list. And to be honest, Christmas time this year will be a bit different for our team and for the family, because we feel a bit like the same pressure we had before we had the summit this year, because there will be something big happen in February next year. So we are working on finalizing the closed beta version. That is really a big milestone on our timeline. So we always have very ambitious timelines for all these things. And so closed beta, we always plan to bring or have by end of this year, means December. So definitely we have to move it a bit to January, end of January, beginning February next year, because there is another thing and where we are working on in parallel. So we are planning to start our sporting activities and our sporting league with ESL together next year, and therefore we have two big projects in the dev team beside of the regular development process. So we have to finalize or finishing all the beta development things, and we also have to prepare the game to be ready for the first big sporting things next year. So sorry to say here that we have to postpone the beta a bit. But to be honest, one of the biggest announcements for next year will come beginning of January from our side. It's the partnership we have with ESL together and the sporting we plan to do with ESL. And there will be an announcement in January, which is really huge and super important for us, and which shows a bit that RENNSPORT is definitely more than a game. So there we will release and let you know a bit more how the sport will look like and what we are planning to do with ESL together. So therefore, all our team resources at the moment are focused on beta and these kind of sporting events. So this is the first big thing next year we will release and we will show, and these things will start immediately after we release it or we start communication. And then there will be a lot of other things next year. So we plan to start our platform by mid of the year. That means all the possibilities that the platform brings to our game will be available step by step from that point on. So beside definitely all the important things when it comes to content. So a lot of new racetracks, a lot of new cars, and so on. So Summit in May. Summit definitely is a very important
Milestone.
event for us. Milestone, yeah, thanks for that. And this summit will be definitely not only for the racers, it will be also for all the modding communities and so on. So this is super important thing for us to really start these kind of discussion and having this community involved into our project. And therefore I'm super happy that the summit next year not only will show racing and sporting and all these things we had this year, also will have a huge focus on all the modding community things. We will start the discussion what the modding community really needs from tool sites and so on. So there will be definitely a lot of things next year we will bring to you.
Exactly. Maybe something you want to add to that, Christoph?
I think Morris described it perfectly. Like we have big plans, as you can probably see, and we have a very unique approach on how we want to cooperate with players, and hopefully everything works as we plan, and you will see some great events next year.
Exactly, and we hope you guys will support us in the same stunning manner as you did over the last weeks and months. It was crazy. And I believe it's time we move on to answering some of the questions that you had sent previously already. And I can already see some questions in the chat. We will answer a few of them as well, so keep them coming. We will collect them all and go through some of them. The first question that we have is, what happens to content I own when I'm no longer part of the subscription model in RENNSPORT?
Yeah, you definitely, that's what we always said. You definitely owner of your content, and maybe these kind of subscription questions we had on the social channel this week. Really, it's important to talk about a bit. So as we always said, there will be a kind of subscription model at the end. On the one hand. And then on the other hand, it's super important that the overall RENNSPORT system has a really free to enter possibility. And that means you could have but you could have the racing experience of RENNSPORT without paying money. So jumping in, getting some cars, having racetracks, and really testing what RENNSPORT can deliver from racing side. So this is very, very important for us to make clear there will be a free to enter option into the overall RENNSPORT system. And then on the other side, there is a subscription model, which is really the high-end part, but there's a lot of things in between. So we are talking about season passes, we are talking about just using several parts of the overall ecosystem and so on. So that will be a kind of process of over the next year, and maybe also when we start or release the game. So there will some kind of optimizations and testings. So the most important thing is, I think, creating a great user experience and creating a great environment to really make people happy and really bring people to join RENNSPORT and being part of the platform and of the game. And this has to be for free, definitely. On the other hand, it's also super important that we earn money at the end of the day, because we have to finance all these kind of things. And therefore, we will really try to create and have as good as possible monetization model at the end of the day, which allows us to give most of the things, or the starting point, definitely for free. On the other hand, creating a kind of subscription model or monetization model which enables users to use all the parts of the overall RENNSPORT ecosystem and have a kind of monetization for us as a company. So that's definitely the thing we have in mind.
Okay, yeah, and that will also bring in maybe some people who have not tried sim racing before. So how will RENNSPORT make it easier for new players to get into sim racing?
Definitely, there are three things from my side. So you have the aspect what kind of hardware do I need to jump into these kind of games? So normally we really think, okay, I have to have a kind of really super expensive sim rig to start playing these kind of simulation games. On the other hand, there's the financial layer, so that's what we talked before, and there's also a thing from the software side. So really talking about all these three things. So from financial side, you could jump in and you do not have to do a kind of subscription, or you do not have to pay. So that makes it easy to test the game and not paying for that. I think that's the most important thing. And therefore you get tracks, cars, and so on, so that you really have a chance to test the game and play the game without paying money for that. Then there is the hardware layer. So for us, it is super important to create a high-end simulation, which is ready for sporting, for esport tournaments, and so on. On the other hand, there has to be a possibility really to jump into the game with maybe just an joypad or whatever, so that you really could test it without having a sim rig or having a wheel and pedals. And then there's a lot of in between. So it also has to be possible that all the hardware out there is usable with RENNSPORT. So means wheels for 150 euros up to sim rigs, as we talked about. So this is the hardware side, and we will try our best to make it possible. Jumping into the game with really close to no hardware and using the game with the best gaming experience with super expensive hardware. So that's the thing we are working on, and that worked quite well when we showed the game as it is at the moment to a broader audience. So it worked quite well in both directions. And then there's the software side, I think. So we definitely planning to have accessibility with in-game tutorials, as we know from other games, really where you really could learn how you handle the game and how you start and getting your first feedback. And then there is definitely a higher level of coming into the game. So there's a kind of AI support from the platform, which really shows you where you have to brake or what you can do to improve your racing overall. So there are a lot of things I think we will offer to make it easy to jump into the game, also for people which are not super familiar with racing and sim racing.
Yeah, I think that's already quite a good answer, just to explain the plans for new players. So then we also have the not new players that already have some equipment, like maybe curved screens, wide screens, and all that. How is RENNSPORT planning on integrating options to change the curvature of rendered screens?
Yeah, so since we are seeing that trend that many people are switching to that because wide screens with curvature are very like they are pretty reasonably priced comparing to other solutions that are alternatives to that. We would be very we definitely need to consider options to make that experience the best possible. For now, we don't have any options for that yet, but definitely that's something that we will consider in the future, so that people with ultra wide screens and curved screens can adjust their picture to fit the best, and so they can have the best experience possible.
That is definitely needed, yes. Okay, next question is, will people be able to add custom BOP onto cars for series as ballast or some other way in RENNSPORT?
Definitely, that's something that's very important for racing. Following the real world racing, that's one of the things that's very big part of a racing series like endurance races. And BOP is like one of key elements of how the cars are performing in those series. So we need that definitely, and we already have some BOP settings in the game implemented, so servers can be set up to, for example, add some mass to some cars, and yeah.
Some other things that have been asked are how we can improve the lacking visual gameplay experience of UE5.
Unreal Engine is not. It's a very wide usage engine, I would say. So you have to always take a note that it's not fully customized to be perfect for racing. And everyone who's developing game on Unreal Engine uh, just needs to know that it's not customized for one genre. So that also includes racing and sim racing. So many things that are very important are not there or are not so well implemented there. But with new releases, not so long time ago, 5.1 version was released, and they added some very promising features there. And hopefully, the Epic Games will continue improving the engine. But if at some point we will see that some things are not possible, or um, Epic Games does not want to implement some things that are crucial for us and we need them, we'll probably just gonna branch the engine out and create our own customized version with some things modded. And that's probably the only way if we cannot have it in the engine. But we'll see how it goes. For now, we have a new engine version. We are still checking what can be done with it. And since it's been not long time since we switched to 5.1, and we'll see how it goes in the future.
And it's the same for triple screens, right?
Exactly the same for triple screens. Just like I mentioned, Unreal Engine is not custom. Like it's not built only for one game genre. So triple screen is a thing that's only usable in sim racing and probably in flight sims, as far as I am aware. And since it's not that big market, Epic Games doesn't have it like put high on their list things to add. So we need to mod the engine in a pretty serious way to add a proper triple screen support. And for now, we decided to wait because that step would require us to modify a lot in the engine and make it very hard to upgrade if we need it. And since Unreal 5 is a pretty new thing, many things are still being improved. We don't want to complicate our life with upgrading just yet, because we will definitely need to update the engine.
Yep. Okay, and before we move on to the next question, I see many questions in the chat that we have already answered in the last session. It was a case as well for the questions channel where you could send questions in before the session. Maybe Felix can send the link in the chat quickly, because there we also answer like many questions, and maybe there's also your question answered in there. But the next question we will answer right now is regarding modding. Will there be a full SDK on the engine with add-ons for 3ds Max and Blender, for example?
Yeah, since modding is one of parts of the project that are very important, and we want to support modding. We want to provide a toolkit for you guys, which will be the most powerful possible tool. So you can just add new car or add new track or everything that we will want you to make possible to modify. And since like I think Morris mentioned, on next summit, we want to also start talking with you guys. How do you want to use it? What are the best solutions, and what we can do with Unreal to make it possible? And probably Morris maybe talk more about it, but from our side, we want to give you the best tool possible, which will be integrated with the game, so you can do it practically like we do it in Unreal Editor.
Yeah, right. So what we did, because really modding is it's a very important part of the RENNSPORT project. So we analyzed a bit what is possible out there at the moment, how other games are working, and what tools are really offered there. And we definitely feel there is some potential for us really to do it in a better way. So we still start creating and bringing our ideas to a design concept. Therefore, we really realized over the last months we have to create a special team which is just working on tools for modding or tools for for APIs and implementing other partners. So that's the thing what we are doing at the moment. So we start creating this team. We hired or we are in a hiring process for this kind of team. So that's the thing we learned. We cannot do it with the developing team we have for the game at the moment. So that's a special part. Super Prio on our side. I'm quite sure we will be ready with the team, and we could show the design concept at the summit next year. So we are definitely on the way with that. If we could create a SDK in the end, I think that should be possible. Blender, 3D Max, what we have here is definitely the tools we are also working internally to create our content. So that's the things we really have on our list. The goal is really to create a tool from our side which we can give to the community, which makes it super easy to implement existing content made from the community and also create new content.
Okay, and that already partly answered the question that just came up in the chat, but I will ask it anyways. Do you think you will compromise or miss out on the esports aspect if you focus on modding or deeper customization?
That's one of big aspects that we need to really think about when we start implementing those modding features and add them to the game. Because I can totally agree that if we don't do it right, it can be a big problem when it comes to esports. Because if you can mod something, you can break something, and this can affect esport. For esport, balance is crucial. Everything needs to be balanced, and the less you can change, the better balance will be there. And also, also in that question on chat, quality is other thing, because modders can create beautiful things, but sometimes mods aren't that perfect, and we also need to make sure how to provide a workflow that all the modders can create awesome stuff. And those are very important things, and I'm really happy that they were mentioned here, because that's a very important.
I agree. Morris, do you want to add something?
No, I'm fine.
Perfect. Like it
Great
that way. Okay, then let's get to the next question. Will teammates be able to plan the pit stops for the ones currently driving?
Yeah, since we are implementing our own custom platform backend with many things you can do there, it can be a very good idea to also include some kind of tool set for users to affect your pit stop, so you don't have to do it on your own when you are driving. And other people also don't even have to launch the game. They can just communicate with you and do it like you are like a race engineer. They see what you do, communicate with you, and they can just click some buttons there. And that's only one of ideas. We can do it in many ways, but that's one of the things that we definitely take into considerations when creating the game.
For those pit stops, can we then also choose what exactly needs to be fixed during pit stops? So like, say, only a quick fix or a total change?
Yeah, so like things like damage system and stuff related to that are still being developed, and depending on how the final product will look like, we can also expose some options. So if we have some very complicated options on how things can be repaired, why not expose it there?
But definitely here, we are talking about a lot how many damage levels we will have in the game at the end. So that's there are several pros and cons. And from this side, so it depends if we have a lot of damage levels included into the cars. We can use these as a base, definitely to give more options to fix things in the pit.
Mm-hmm. Options to change things is also important for the next question, which is, will RENNSPORT have a server option or admin command for reverse grid and grid edit?
Since just like we say it from the beginning, we want the game to be as flexible as possible, so you can do not only GT racing but other types of racing. One of our main goals is to make configs also very flexible. So how when you set up the server, we do it in a way that you can change many things there, including what's the grid start order, what's it based on. If you want to predefine it, maybe you want to use reverse grid. Those things are available, and we'll add more in the future. But referring to the questions, yes, that's one of the things that we definitely will have.
People keep talking about grid people now. It's great. Okay.
Oh, yeah, grid.
I remember this
should be a
question.
forbidden word.
They modified the forbidden word into grid people. That is perfect. Anyways, what are map limits while modding in RENNSPORT regarding the track size?
Short question will be whatever Unreal Engine and our physics engine supports. And since we are still developing it, and especially our physics engine, we still are searching for the limits. And we know Unreal Engine can do good. With physics engine, we are still adding some stuff there. So we'll see. You can see some tracks that are already implemented, and we definitely plan to allow for larger tracks than we currently have.
Okay, and there's a question in the chat that we can easily answer. Can the host simply spectate for live streaming events, or for example, spectators too?
Yeah, spectating is one of core features of the game. So if you saw videos from Summit, you could already see some of spectator angles recorded there.
Yes, that was fun. I was the guy doing the spectating at the summit.
Yeah.
Nothing better than that. Next question is, will RENNSPORT feature physical car debris on the road that could potentially damage cars colliding with it?
We plan to have it, but since things like that can easily break experience, we want to make it as perfect as possible before we make it public and show it in public releases of the game. So as you probably know, if those things work incorrectly, they can ruin your race because some random debris which breaks your car in a way that it shouldn't is there. That's not fun. So if it doesn't work well, you shouldn't have it. So we'll add it when we are 100% sure that they are good.
That's the right way to go about this. Another interesting question in the chat right now is, will modders need to have a subscription to use their own work?
I definitely, I have no answer for that yet. That's exactly what I said in the beginning. There's a lot of in between really free to enter and using a kind of a subscription model. At the moment, I would say to create content and bring it into the game and test it there, I would say it's not needed to pay for it. Definitely not, because it's a thing where you could try and for me, it is not only that people have the chance to try a car and race a track to find out if they really like RENNSPORT. It's also giving modders the chance to try what they would like to do, and then they could decide stay with RENNSPORT or getting deeper in it. And so forth. We have no final decision on that yet, but I can say from my perspective, I'm quite sure it will be for free at the beginning, so that you really could try how the tools work, if you like it, and how it looks like if you bring content into the game.
Mm-hmm. I think that answers it quite well, actually. Yep.
Hopefully, if not, ask again.
Yeah, if it wasn't answered correctly, then just ask it again, maybe a bit more directly. I don't know. But we move on to the next scheduled question, which is, how is RENNSPORT planning on bringing accurate engine sounds to the sim?
So to have accurate engine sounds and sounds per se, it's very important to have good samples first. So we need good samples there, and with some talented people we have here, we can make them work well with our cars, so they react to our physics and adjust those samples. And those samples are adjusted to change their behavior when our car is driving. So that's the goal here, and probably Morris can tell you more about how we get those samples in a minute. But yeah, with good base material and some talented people who can work with that, and some tools which we also have, we can create a very good our sound, I believe.
Yeah, so definitely. So what Christoph says, so to create really a great sound in the game, therefore we need some really authentic or good records from the sound in the real world car, and therefore we really start doing our own records. So we're going to all our partners and recording car sounds not only in the garage, also on the racetrack from inside and outside. So we finalized a fixed equipment tool which we need for that, and so I think the first sessions for recording start 4 or 5 weeks ago. So we're in this process. So definitely answer is we are working on that. We will do it for all the cars with all the partners, but it also will take some times to do all these records of the cars, and we will bring it into the game step by step next year. So there will be cars in the game in the beginning and in the beta, which definitely will not have the final sound we are planning to have. So because it really takes time to go to all these partners and do the records. But we start the process, and next year all the cars will get their authentic sound. We record definitely from the real world cars.
And another good question here that also wished for quite frequently here. The one with the most votes currently is number 2, which is there a plan to have ranked scheduled racing from day 1? We have all seen sims launch without this and die down really quickly as a result.
So definitely we are planning an overall sporting system, and all the racing activities on the platform, really all the data will be tracked and we will have it. And that also allows us really to start from the release of the game with a system which really tracks all these kind of things and allow us to create a ranking of these kind of sporting things.
Okay. The next question on my list is, what kind of content do players have access to when starting with RENNSPORT? So when they don't have a subscription just yet.
That's what I said in the beginning. There will definitely be for the drivers. There will definitely be racetracks available and cars, so that you could jump in and test and drive these cars. So you could have the overall experience of physics and driving. And as we said before, for modding community and modding guys, I'm quite sure we also will find a free to enter system that they could start using tools and bringing things into the game, so that they have a kind of experience if they like it or not. So definitely that's what we are bringing into the RENNSPORT system, that there is a chance to test the game and really find out if you like it or not, and then hopefully stay and go into a subscription or whatever at the end.
Yes, and if you do decide to stay, you will want to improve your time. So what will training sessions and practicing tools look like in RENNSPORT, also regarding the telemetry analysis tool?
So first and basic things that we are planning to have in a game, and actually already have it partially, is telemetry. So that's thing that you can use to analyze your results and compare it to other people and see where you can improve, see where you made mistakes, and try to avoid it next time. And also there are some talks about how can we improve the experience and give some more hints to players, like built into the game. So some automated systems which can assist you while driving and show you some hints. But this is like very early, and that's something that we plan for a little bit later, since we have many things on our schedule so far. But also, Maurice probably can tell you more, that we are also talking to some external parties about possibilities that they can help us with things like that, because there are some tools already available which can help with that.
So there are for me there are definitely several steps of doing these kinds or offering these kinds of tools. So as I mentioned in the beginning, so there will be kind of tutorials and training sessions. If you jump into the game, then we will have these possibilities really to give training and help with all the data we collect from the overall racing we have on the platform. So what does it mean? So we could figure out what is your lap time and then really bring you just special ideas where you could optimize your braking point and so on, just for the level where you are at the moment. And the third thing is definitely we are talking to several partners from the real world racing that they can bring their data they collect from real racing events that we could use the data they have in our game, so that for the top drivers we have a kind of tool where they really could see how the real world drivers drive on certain racetracks, where they brake, what is the ideal racing way, and so on. So I think there are several levels of training sessions and tools, and I think there are things offered from the platform which for all level of drivers.
Okay, and another good question from the chat right now is, for league organizers, are there going to be incident report and penalty systems? This would be really important in terms of ease of league racing.
Yeah, we are planning to do such things. Like one thing is like built-in system for penalties in the game itself, so penalties can be given live. Other thing is something we call race director system. So there can be a person who takes care about racing while spectating. And third thing that we also think about how is the best to implement it is post-race penalties.
Yeah, we need those for the sport, and they're starting soon, exactly. And Felix, I don't think I'm gonna be any shoutcasting anytime soon, so don't even give the people any ideas. Will RENNSPORT feature driver classes based on one's driving performance?
Yeah, definitely. So the team at the moment is working on a elo-based rating system, really, which integrates a lot of parameters, mostly as we know it from other games. But we also have some add-on ideas for these kind of things, because I really do not like that much these 2, 3, 4 levels of pro am or whatever. So I also would love, and especially for people joining RENNSPORT and are maybe new in the overall system. And I remember when I start playing racing games, I had one racetrack and I always used the same car. And at the end, I was quite good on one racetrack and with one car. And really, we think about if there could be an option to also have a level system which says, okay, maybe I do not have the best elo rating or whatever, but I'm super good with this one car and on this one track, and this really allows me to be part of racing events on this racetrack with this car because I'm good enough for that. So really thinking a bit out of the box is also I think we try to find, but that's also a thing we would really love to discuss on the summit and on the Discord and so on, if this is really needed or if the community really would like to have it. I really come from my perspective, if you jump in these kind of games and you're totally new, it takes really a long time to have an overall great rating and being part of sporting sessions on a higher level. So yeah, we are open for new ideas, and we discuss new ideas internally, but it's all based on a system as we know it from other games.
Okay, and the newest question is, can I join a race where I only own my own car but not owning the cars from other drivers? We actually answered this question as well in the last talking session. So once again, quick reminder, if some of your questions have not been answered yet, in this session, make sure to check out our last one. It's on YouTube. Felix will send the link at the end of this session. So yeah, make sure to check that out as well. I know, but it was not that clear. It wasn't clear. Okay, then let's answer again. Morris, can I join a race where I only own my own car, but I don't own the cars from the other drivers?
It depends how the race is set up and what is allowed for the race. So if someone says only this and that cars are allowed, then you could only join with this car. So, but if I understand right, so we are talking about digital ownership, and if you jump into a session with your car, other cars could be there, and if you don't own these cars, they will be on the racetrack. Definitely, it is possible. Yes.
I hope that answered it now. Okay. Last question on my list is, which POV camera perspectives will RENNSPORT feature during races?
I would say everything that you guys are used to. So interior cameras, exterior cameras, like behind car cameras, all of them will be available for our game. And if for some reason, for example, for League, you want to lock camera to specific angle, usually it's interior camera from what I'm aware of, there's also a possibility to do that. And yeah, I think that's that answers the questions.
I think so too, yes. Okay, about the question we answered before, a little addition to that. How would that work with modded cars? So will my client download that mod when I'm joining a server without owning it yet?
How the technical solution is, I cannot explain to you, but it will be so. With modding cars, there are different stages. So if you bring modding cars in an official sporting system, that's what Christoph say. That has to be double checked for several reasons. So that's what Christoph explained. But bringing cars into a sporting session or doing setting up an own server and doing a race and bringing other cars in these race which you do not really own, this is definitely possible. Please don't ask how it works from technical side. So maybe Christoph can answer it, but I don't really know.
About specifics, maybe let's not get much into details. For now, I think we will make that clear later in when the tools are ready, and we will have all the answers on our side too, because we also have to fully plan the workflow with that. Because in some games you need to download everything earlier, you need to know what's there, and that's very complex. And if someone forgets about something, things break. So we want to avoid that and create the most automated system as possible, but we still need to check what are the possibilities. But since we are developing our own platform, which can help us to support it and synchronize it, maybe we can do it better than others do it.
Okay, and then I think we're already drawing close to the end of the session. Let's do maybe 2 or 3 more questions. One from Felix's poll. The winner is, what refresh polling rate will the physics system run at? Will it be separate to the graphical refresh rate?
It will be higher, definitely.
About the exact numbers, I would not get into details yet, because since game is still under development, we are experimenting with some values. But yes, about the second part of the question, graphics is run separately from physics. So we have physics engine running on its own, and graphics is synchronized based on data that's output by physics engine on the separate thread inside the game.
All right. I did not understand anything you just said, but I hope the one who asked the question did. And even though the question did not win the poll, I think it's very interesting as well. Regarding the ranking, will there be a mechanism in the game to join a race session with people that have similar ranking? In other words, will the game have logic so that one can race with people that have similar pace as oneself?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. We are planning something like this. Not sure when exactly we'll implement such system, but that's one of the things that we are also thinking about.
And there will definitely, and we cannot talk about, sorry for that, but hopefully we can show it by mid or end of next year. There will definitely some more technical possibilities which we never saw before in a racing game. So when it comes to match the right levels of drivers on the right servers.
Exactly. Okay. Let's see if there's like maybe. Okay. Let's go with one last question, which is a good question for the end, I think. If you could only define RENNSPORT with one idea or purpose, what would that be?
Using all the technologies which are available at the moment and really creating the best possible product out of that, which really brings together a lot of ideas which we had in mind, the overall team, for several years.
Perfect. Christoph, do you want to give a shot?
Yeah, one thing that I would add is like taking the experience from everything that we see around and converting it to the best sim racing and competitive experience possible.
Wow. Incredible. I would never have been able to come up with a sentence that fast.
I'm super happy that Christoph is responsible. He has to deliver the game for that.
I'm sure he will, right?
I'm quite sure.
Yeah, it's more than me. I'm just talking. all the people that are doing the work are like hidden and shy.
Shy, yes. Well, that's the same with most developers, I feel like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they have me. I'm the talking head, and from time to time I can code.
Right, so your job is mostly now the talking, not the coding anymore.
Talking and telling people what to do, and they scream at me that I tell them there's too much to do.
and talking to me and hearing what crazy ideas we always have.
I'm just like a bridge, and getting hit by you, and later getting hit by the team. That's my life now.
In between.
It sounds like fun. Sounds like fun. But this talking session also was quite a lot of fun. Sadly, we are at the end of it. So we said we would do like an hour, so it's about an hour. Yeah, thank you all for the great year, everyone. It was incredible. Maybe Morris, you want to say some more words to that as well?
Yeah, it was a crazy and super great year. So so many new team members really joined the project. Really, it was great to get all your support over the year. Hopefully you will be with us next year as well. Definitely, we always have a very ambitious timeline. So let me say, there will be definitely moments also next year where we have to say we will be maybe a bit later than we all thought, but there will be a lot of crazy and great things we are planning to do next year. So stay tuned and have a great holiday between the years, and then we will see each other on the summit and next year. So yeah. Bye.
Yeah. Something from my side, yeah. We plan big, and hopefully everything that we plan will be there. But one thing that I can promise is that we'll do everything possible to make the best game possible. And I hope you will like it when we release it at some point.
We all hope you do.
And then let me say one thing, because we come from zero, and we are working on this project since 2.5 years. We have ambition plans. We have a lot of visions we would like to bring to you and really, bring to life with you together. But always please keep in mind that we really come from zero, and other project also needs not only 1 or 2 years to really come to the level where all the users are super happy and everything was super good. So that will be a journey, and hopefully you will be with us at this journey, and we will definitely try our best to reach all the goals we have as soon as possible.
Yeah. About the journey, we can definitely promise you that it's gonna be a long journey with us.
Look forward to it. Okay, so the whole RENNSPORT team wishes you and your families nice and relaxing holidays and a happy new year. And with that, I would say bye to you, and we will see each other in the next talking session, maybe sometime next year.
Great. Thank you, Lucas. Thanks to all.
Yeah.
See you next year.
Thank you for coming, and thank you, and see you.